Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. We're back with an in-game tactical analysis of the group stage match between Mourinho Spurs and Flick's Bayern. Bayern came out on top 3-1 thanks to Coutinho, Coman and Müller, while Sessegnon scored the consolation. The match will provide food for thought for both managers, so let's take a tactical look at how things unfolded. Just a quick reminder of the formations. Both teams lined up in a 4-2-3-1, as you can see in the OneFootball app, which is today's video sponsor. If you want to get up-to-date news about your favorite teams and players and get all kinds of statistics, check out the app through the link in the description. Let's start with the build-up play by Bayern, as they dominated possession with 70%. Fluidity was the name of the game for the Bavarians, as they used constant movement to try and break down Spurs. They would look to play up through the centre-backs, with the full-backs pushing higher up the pitch. In this phase, Spurs were set up in a mid-4-5-1 formation, with Lucas up top. Initially, they attempted to use a single pivot build-up, with one of Thiago and usually Kimmich dropping to receive the ball off the centre-backs, and the other pushing up alongside Coutinho. Spurs could deal with this easily enough, with Eriksen picking up the man in this region. So Bayern had two main solutions to this. Joshua Kimmich would often split his centre-backs, forming a build-up back three. So Eriksen would then be drawn into a front two press of sorts, opening up space in this crucial zone where Thiago could then drop into. They got more space here because the Spurs midfielders would be reluctant to push higher up, as Gnabry, Coman and Perisic were also extremely fluid, getting between the lines, so Spurs had to look to counter this by keeping their midfielders deep. Solution 2 on the build-up was simply to use a double pivot. Again, the reluctance of Spurs to press higher with the compact midfield gave Bayern more options on the build-up to outnumber them here, and as a result they dominated the possession. Bayern appeared to have identified Spurs' wide regions as a weakness, as shown by their direction of play, and in particular Walker Peters. They would often look to overload him, and even Perisic, who was a fluid 9, would often place himself here, so that the centre-backs and the midfielders would be reluctant to double up against Coman. This would then allow the ball out to Coman, 1 versus 1 against Walker Peters, and look to attack him, whilst Gnabry would then move in to attack the box, as you can see from the average positions. In fact, when Müller came on, Perisic was the dedicated left winger and attempted 6 crosses, the second most in the game. At the same time, they could look to attack this region by overloading the centre, tucking in Perisic and Coman to then free Davies to attack the flanks. This was effective as Lo Celso didn't have the pace to track them backwards and forwards. Davies was also a major attacking threat, completing 2 crosses and a game-high 8 dribbles, as well as hitting the post. His impact was so significant, in the second half, Mourinho made adjustments when Skip came into defensive midfield to move Sissoko wide to the right, as he was more disciplined and could track Davies. This also moves into another attacking tactic of theirs, the switch of play. This wasn't a direct switch, but often through quick exchanges of passes. From the prior discussed overloaded left-hand phase, Perisic, Gnabry and sometimes even Coutinho were sure to drift between the lines to force the Spurs midfield back and across. This would then free Thiago, and he would switch the play to the opposite flank, where Gnabry could stay wide or choose to attack the box. We see shades of these patterns in the first 2 goals. The side overload is inverted with Bayern shifting across to the right, which frees up Coman when the ball breaks to him. For the second, Perisic draws Peters out of position, freeing Davies to cross the ball, eventually leading to the scrambled goal. Let's move on to the Spurs attacking ploy. It's important to note they only had 30% possession, so they had less of the attacking play. When they did choose to play up from the back, it was through a back 3, with Danny Rose dropping here. Jose presumably didn't want to leave gaps in these regions on the transition. Walker Peters would then advance into the space created, and Sissoko would be wary to be ready to cover the region as well. This would naturally allow Lo Celso to tuck into his preferred central positions, knowing that the width was provided. These principles can be seen in the average position as well as the attacking sides. And Bayern looked to press extremely high in a compact manner to harry Spurs and force them long. This often almost worked out for the London team, using the pace of Son and Müller to run in behind, and being either unable to finish or being caught just offside. But generally, Bayern's high press repeatedly forced them long to a two-man frontline of Müller and Eriksen, who won 1 combined aerial compared to Boateng and Martinez's 8. Not the most effective strategy, resulting in 7 shots and a 1.13 xG compared to Bayern's 2.97. But what strategies would you have altered? And if you want a deep dive into Jose's tactics at Spurs in particular so far, let me know in the comments below. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.